YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back in Total War Rome 2, and I think that obviously I still want to do online battles and basically stuff that community people are sending me on top of the scenario battles that I'm playing, because the scenario battles take a little longer. You have to leave people time to vote and give their suggestions. So in order to still get plenty of online battles, I'm going to keep doing them, but rather than calling it like online battle, whatever we were, like 351 or whatever, I'm going to basically call it something different. I don't know exactly what yet, like community cast, or, you know, if I do a community cast, it means I'm probably casting someone's replay, or it'll just be me playing with viewers and just normal battles. And in this case, I'm going to be casting a battle that was sent to me by Trolley Bully. I guess this is part of his Domination Tournament. And the Domination Tournament is a little bit different than any other tournament I've ever really heard of, and I wanted you all to hear some of the info before we keep on moving. So I'm trying to... Is there some reason why... Chrome, there we go. All right. Windows 10 does some weird things sometimes. Anyway, so the Domination Tournament. Basically, it's all about teamwork. It's like you and a friend form a team, and you run a faction. Your goal is to conquer all the key provinces on the map. So all the key provinces are Egypt, Africa, Latium, Syria, Parthia, Athens, West Sicilia, Lusitania, Bosphorus, Thracia, Gallia, Swabia, Pontus. So those are the different ones. There's actually a picture, and I'll put some links up in the description if you can go see some more of this and go look at the rules. But basically, it's when you attack a province, the winner is the one who wins, like the best of one. When you get attacked, you have to try and hold. So basically, every team member is supposed to play around the same number of battles. And basically, it's all land battles. You won't have naval battles, but you have to own a certain province in order to be able to cross the sea into certain other ones. So that kind of creates a bit of strategy. So this is interesting. It's almost like a campaign type tournament. It's very interesting. And basically the rule set is max 4 the same unit, max 7 melee infantry. 7 is an interesting number, including the general. It's lower than the normal 8. 4 missile cavs, max 6-foot skirmishers, 12 cavalry in total, including missiles. And then you can have a max of 14 melee infantry in total. No hill camping, forest camping, red line camping, so on. No pike boxing, except for in the late game when only pikes are left. Pull through is only allowed when you are pulling through skirmishers. So that's to basically prevent people from just charging the front of a line and sneaking through. No deployables, no artillery, large funds, and basically they have a list of maps, and Pergamon gets some slightly special rules. So that's pretty much how they got it set up. So let's go take a look at this battle. This is actually and remember, the teams represent a faction. And I can't keep track of like who all won which province and stuff on a map. I'll let you all go look at the links if you want to try and find that. But this is a Sparta versus Macedon match. This is not the Blades balance mod. So remember that you're not going to be seeing some of the changes that he made. This is played in the vanilla version of the game. So here we go. This is Sparta versus Macedon. Should be an interesting matchup. Macedon obviously having far superior cavalry and probably overall better skirmishing options. Though Sparta has decent skirmish options. Sparta's going to come out in terms of like morale and armor and stuff. Sparta's going to be a great faction, but they're going to lack swords. But Macedonian swords are not particularly good. So I find it'll be a pretty interesting matchup, to say the least, to see how this goes. So let's take a look at the Macedonian army to start with. Well, we can't see it all, actually, so let's take a look at the Spartan army. So up front, looks like Perioikoi Hoplites. There's 4 of those. Got a second line of Spartan Hoplites, and there's 4 of those. And then we got a hero, a royal, another royal, and another hero. So 2 royals, 2 heroes of Sparta, 1 Perioikoi spears, and for the skirmishers, I know I saw 3 Gorgos and 1 Rhodian. So the Rhodian slinger is going to add some, well, I thought it was, oh, it's 4 Gorgos and 1 Rhodian. Wow. That's quite a bit of skirmishing power. We got a Thracian Cavalry here for Macedon coming up over the hill. Interesting choice on the Thracian Cavalry. I'm not a huge fan of them. They're not near as good as the Thracian skirmishers, in my opinion. What can we see from Macedon? A citizen cav, a Thessalian cav, a companion cav, 1 Rhodian, Thracian warriors. I saw some thorax swords, a couple of pikes, and other units starting in the battle. So we'll just kind of see how this plays out. Both players are vying for the hill here, and they're probably hoping to use their skirmishers from the hill to try and pull the other player up the hill. That's going to be the obvious preference for the two factions as they take this position. So yeah, who can drag their opponent down into this valley essentially is going to be the name of the game. Is it going to be the Macedonian getting pulled that way? Is it going to be the Spartan getting pulled that way? And now it looks like they're all kind of just moving around a little more, not really wanting to attack each other uphill. And that's fine. That makes sense for players to jockey for position a little. If they didn't, it would be kind of weird. So we shall let them jockey for position. And I'm just going to keep it on this overhead view for a minute just so we can kind of keep an eye on what's happening until the players actually start making move towards each other. Looks like they're kind of maybe redeploying a little bit towards the lower ground. The Spartan player moving now a lot towards the lower ground. Maybe deciding to just give the higher ground to the Macedonian. Maybe they wanted clearer ground for their skirmishers to exert their presence. Because let's see, there's 2 standard slingers there, 2 mercenary Rhodian slinger, or 1 Cretan archer, 1 Rhodian. I don't think there's any more skirmishers. The skirmishing advantage definitely goes to Sparta here. And back here, this Perioikoi spear is kind of playing with the Thracian Cavalry. Perioikoi spears do not just have like a missile attack order, but they do have javelins. But they can only throw them when you give an attack order. So they are kind of a poor man's Spartan version of like Levi Thurios or something. So yeah, that looks like the players are, they've decided to come down to open ground and face off here. There's still quite a bit of battle left, as you can see here in the timer. So I'm going to fast forward some more until we start to get a more decisive engagement. Both players being extremely cautious here. Not really wanting to test the other. Honestly, I kind of like the Spartan build. I mean, between 4 Spartan Hoplites, the Spartan Hoplites probably won't do very good versus the Thorax Swords, but the Heroes of Sparta would do very well against anything else. Oh, okay. It's the Levy Pikes that I've missed. That's why they don't want to engage straight up the center. The Levy Pikes can support the Thorax Swords. So the Spartans probably going to want to get more skirmishing done. And you can see a very heavy skirmish fire coming in, wrecking on the slingers of Macedon. And their skirmishers are bunched up right now, so Macedon taking severe damage to their skirmisher line. The Perioikoi Hoplites blocking the path. The Gorgo skirmishers. These Thracian warriors are going to absolutely wreck Perioikoi Hoplites. And they will take very few losses in this matchup. The Perioikoi Hoplites will die extremely fast. Well, actually, look at that. The Thracian warriors took quite a few losses. I wonder what that's all about. Maybe skirmish fire was targeted at them or something. Anyway, backing that up with Spartan Hoplites now, so the Thracian warriors will actually get pushed back with, you know, a decent number of starting kills. A few gaps in the lines of the Spartan here. We'll see nothing taking advantage of that at the moment in terms of the Macedonian cavalry. It's out here on the flanks. Definitely could have been interesting to see that, use of these gaps here. But there is a Thessalian cav lining up on the flank. It's going to be met by a Perioikoi spear. But right now, the mercenary Thracian warriors are falling. Throwing Thurio spears into combat with these heavily armored hoplites is definitely not the right move. But the charge of the Thessalian cavalry right here will be decent. Definitely going to hurt the Perioikoi. Probably not going to do a lot to the Spartan Hoplites because it was kind of an awkward flank charge. Flank charges ought to be some of the most effective, but because of the way the mechanics work in Total War, they are some of the most ineffective charges with cavalry. You have to get a full rear charge or a full frontal charge into an unbraced unit. Flank charges can work, but it's just all about whether or not you get lucky with the unit formation. Thurio spears here are going to get crushed. I say crushed. It'll actually be a pretty even fight between them and the Perioikoi Hoplites. So let's check out the backlines. The Thessalian cavalry getting to a lot of the Spartan skirmishers, getting a decent number of kills, but the infantry fight's grinding out for a long time now, and with the Thorax swordsmen here, it's going to keep grinding out. The pikes are being held in reserve, which is interesting. Why they didn't come forward to support in the fight against the Spartans. You would think that's where they want to be. But and then citizen cavalry here, just sitting here when it could be harassing these skirmishers, so that seems like a bit of a miss there. These Perioikoi spears, though, kind of keeping the Thracian cavalry at bay. The Spartan general in good shape, just holding position in the back. Let's see where some of the more elite Spartan units are there. A hero of Sparta, Spartan Hoplites, Royal Spartan here engaged in the center in phalanx. This unit will tank out all of these units put together quite easily. The companion cavalry trying to make its way into the battlefield, being chased by Spartan Hoplites. They're definitely going to want to get away from that, but they are indeed going to get caught, at least momentarily. Though they may not take any damage if they hurry out of there, which they did. This Thessalian cavalry being thrown back into the skirmishers is probably about as good as it's going to do here. Thracian cavalry coming in for a rear charge here. Won't do much against heroes of Sparta except for die. So I expect the Thracian cavalry there to be less than useful in a rear charge against a hero of Sparta. Spartan Hoplites holding out, and then the other guy's gone into square, but this rear, well, no, not a rear charge from the citizen cavalry. It pulls out, but being caught by Spartan Hoplites here, it's not going to be a good place for them to be. Yeah, the Thracian cavalry just straight routed right there, as expected. But, I mean, look at this, the Spartan keeping lots of units in reserve. They've got 3 pikemen in reserve, a thorax sword in reserve. Just very interesting that they're just sitting here letting their units fight that. I mean, they can't really outflank like this, or else the skirmishers will pick that unit off. But it seems like you'd want to try something. The pikemen now finally being engaged up against all these heroes of Sparta, Royal Spartans. Tons of units now engaging the levy pikes. They do have their pikes down, and they will get a few kills. But, I mean, head on with all these heavily armored, very high, morale units in just a single deep line. They will die, and they will die relatively quick. Skirmisher fire being poured into the Spartan general here. That's probably a good choice. And the Spartan general is taking some losses. These Royal Spartans, 115 kills for only 20 losses. And that thorax sword is being activated, but the Perioikoi spear is going to keep them from outflanking. Let's see how this levy pikeman has gotten 15 kills, which is honestly more than I expected it to, and it's also allowing all this skirmish fire into here from the slingers, who have done a substantial amount of damage to the Royal Spartan general. So that is a good one, but lots of Spartan skirmishers back here too. And now they're focusing fire on that slinger. Ooh, companion cavalry is going to get a rear charge into this group. It is unbraced. The Macedonian infantry is about to rout, but that still ought to leave some damage on the Royal Spartan general. But the companion cavalry down 9 men. It's going to want to get out of that combat, because those Royal Spartans will start to tear down that cavalry very quickly. They have a nice bonus versus large and a very high attack. Quite a few units left on the field for Macedon at this point, and this is bad news for Sparta. Those units should have been tucked back this way so that this Royal Spartan had a chance to actually fend off that cavalry, but now it's too late. And the lack of cavalry for Sparta is going to really start to make its presence felt here in the late game as their last remaining skirmishers are chased off. I don't see Sparta coming back from this as long as the Macedonian has enough ammo. Now, if they do not have enough ammo, then this is absolutely still winnable by Sparta. Though not, well, I mean, those companions got damaged enough that, yeah, it probably is still winnable by Sparta. The skirmishers got away for a moment, got some shots off into the citizen cavalry. That's just a Gorgo, but it is caught by Hoplites, but the Hoplites aren't going to be pinned by a rear charge from a thin line. Yeah, Hoplite there, the citizen cav, but it's getting away. Gonna get some more kills on the Gorgos, but it might rout, and if that Gorgo can be saved, that's a big win for Sparta. But right here, the Spartan general going down to pikemen and skirmish fire. So nice use of just using the pikes kind of almost as a delaying force while the skirmishers poured in their shots, and a Royal Spartan general being chased off the field by mere skirmishers of Macedon. So ultimate shame for Sparta right there. General routing before the end of the battle. This Royal Spartan right here, or hang on, where'd that Royal Spartan go that had all the kills? It may have routed. Yeah, it may have routed earlier. Yeah, one more Royal Spartan back here, but with no other support. Again, I just don't see how Sparta could pull off the victory. It says there is 7 minutes of battle left though, so let's do a little bit of fast forwarding and just kind of check this out, see what happens. Let's see here. The skirmishers from Macedon definitely still have ammo. They are still firing away, and what do we have? We have slingers and a Rhodian slinger. The Rhodian slinger is going to be doing severe damage. Oh, units from Macedon starting to disappear now, though. This might start swinging back around a little, and then the ammo is going to be the key. About half wonder if the Spartans shouldn't go hide in the woods. Did say no forest camping in the rules, though, so I don't know if that counts a late game scenario like this or not. There are pikes left, a few companion cavalry. This thorax sword is being defeated by a Heroes of Sparta, but now the Heroes of Sparta getting rear charged by companion cavalry. That's going to be pretty devastating. And the phalanx is good, but it also kind of slows down the rate of attack. So companion cavalry being left in that combat for quite a while, though, versus the Heroes of Sparta. Not sure if that's appropriate. 133 kills, and it is hurting their morale badly. That Royal Spartan has come to engage, though. And these two Spartan units are alive. Let's check for ammo. Rhodian slingers have their daggers out. Oh, this is going to actually be bad for Sparta. These pikes, though, how they're used here is going to determine who wins this late game. If the pikes can be used properly, it's going to make a big difference. Really trying to keep the thorax swords in the fight at this point. They have 183 kills. They're doing an extraordinary job, honestly. The Heroes of Sparta being sent to chase after the companion cavalry, while the pikes are being sent in to support the thorax swords, who are now actually dying. And these pikemen here are being chased by Spartan Hoplites, and they're in a rather derpy formation, which is pretty typical for pikemen. So the Spartan Hoplites are going to get a decent number of kills here on these pikes that are misformed. And the pikes here are going to attempt to support, but they are very, very slow to actually be an offensive unit here. They don't have the capability to really push their pikes forward and engage in combat, which is always something that's been broken in Total War Rome 2, which has made pikes basically only good when stationary in a choke point, or in a noob box in late game, or just for protecting skirmishers. It's about the only thing that they're useful for in the vanilla game. We do have this periodically hoplite wavering, and again, the performance of these pikes is going to heavily influence the late game. With that pike gone, if these guys truly are out of ammo, which they are, as far as I can see, this game is over for Macedon, I believe, because there's no anvil for these companion cavalry to use as a hammer, to be used as a hammer. The pikes still getting derpy engagement. See how they kind of, there's something weird, and you can notice it in most Total War games. When you target a unit with a cannon, for instance, it tries to attack the very right side of a unit or the left side of a unit, and the pikes almost act like that's what they're doing sometimes too when you click attack orders. Again, it was something that should have been investigated and put to rest. Ooh, now this companion cavalry not gonna take that charge because they were going into a phalanx. General just trying to stay alive. The pikes trying to get head-on kills here. And then the Royal Spartans are being retreated while the Heroes of Sparta try and charge in from behind. This is good because the companion cav general is being kept mobile rather than making charges, and it's also going to make that general tired. Yeah, I don't see much that Macedon's going to be able to do here. I'm pretty sure this turns out to be a victory for Sparta, even though I had thought it was going to fall to Macedon. They just did not have enough ammo to pull this off. And levy pikes in late game versus all these units that have a lot better morale, I just don't see Macedon pulling this off. And the Macedonian general is being pulled down by the hoplites here, so we should see the companion cavalry rout, and with them the levy pikes appear to shatter and flee, meaning that just, some slingers were the only things left, and they're going to break the morale too. So it was a good battle between Sparta and Macedon here. I thought it was going to be pretty cut and dry there, but in the late game, flipping from what looked like a Macedonian victory back to a Spartan victory, just because, the Macedonians just did not have the ammo in the late game. Interesting trade-off there. No real cavalry for the Spartans, and well played for not having cavalry too. That can be tricky sometimes. So good job to both the players in this match. Definitely enjoyed it. Hope you all did too. I will continue to bring you these community cast replays from the community, or myself playing games with the communities, and of course we will continue these scenario battles as well. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I will see you all soon.